All right, speaking of schools, should we teach yoga at school? Should it be part of the curriculum? Joining us on the line now is postdoctoral researcher in mental health at Victoria University, Michaela Pascoe. Good evening.
Hi there, Tom. How are you?
Good, thank you. Now, why should we teach kids yoga at school?
Yeah, well, essentially, Australian kids and all kids around the world really are very highly stressed in school, and the impact of this stress can be sort of ongoing and lifelong. It can affect mental health outcomes, it can affect their academic outcomes, their social cohesion and emotional adjustment. And it's really important to teach kids and generally people in society how better to manage this stress. So yoga-based mindfulness programs can be a really good way to help people to identify when they're stressed and better manage those stress. There's been a lot of research coming out of the US, for example, that shows that people who regularly practice mindfulness and yoga are able to react in a more adaptive way to stressful events and can recover more quickly from stressful events, as well as generally just show a lower stress level in their day-to-day lives.
Okay, so are Australian students, relatively speaking, more stressed than their international counterparts?
Yes, they are. There's a study of 72 countries that showed that Australian kids are particularly stressed.
Why is that, do you think?
That's a really good question. It could be a whole range of things, but it would probably be related to testing and exams, concerns about getting into university. Some of the students have expressed issues around bullying, concerns around getting into university, grades, peer pressures. In terms of why it's higher in Australia compared to other schools, I think that's, maybe that could be something more widely related to our education system and something like that.
And look, you've listed yoga as one way to deal with it. I must say, for me at school, and I got a bit stressed out before exams and so forth, but for me it was always exercise, go for a run, go for a swim, do something like that. I mean, is yoga the only way to deal with stress?
Absolutely not. And exercise is another great way. And that's one of the things about yoga is that it is an exercise practice, but additional to that, the mindfulness-based yoga practices have a range of, or teach people a range of psychological skills that help them better manage the stress. So additional to the sort of physiological effects or the cardiovascular effects or benefits of exercise, which are, very valid and important and absolutely fantastic, it can also give people some of these really great psychological skills that help people in their sort of longer term lives as well.
One of our producers said that the Catholic school that she attended, they did have yoga, and she would just lie on the floor and go to sleep. Does that count?
I guess it's a way of resting, but no, generally not. If you're lying on the floor and just going to sleep, I think that would be more so considered sleep than yoga.
Well, that's hence that. All right. Thank you, Michaela Pascoe there, postdoctoral researcher in mental health at Victoria University. Well, look, it could work. It's interesting when I hear that Australian students are relatively speaking more stressed than their overseas counterparts. When I grew up, we always heard that, Japanese school kids developed ulcers at a young age because the Japanese schooling system was so competitive and so tough. Maybe Australia is the new Japan. John, good evening.
Indeed, g'day, Tom.